r/AskReddit by Reddit. When did the popular kid's life fall apart in a few seconds? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Enjoy the video. Him and a kid I've known since about first grade drove about 8 to 9 hours to visit a friend who had moved away at the time and was feeling depressed. They were going to surprise him and he called saying he found a way to get a plane ticket back to them, where they all three were friends originally, while they were already 14 hours deep in a road trip. So they turned around, and when they were about 45 minutes from home, they got into a bad accident and he died on the scene. The kid I knew from first grade watched his best friend bleed out next to him upside down in his car. He had long hair and the paramedics thought he was a female upon arrival, and first grade friend said he was desperately trying to tell them he was a boy and his name and to call his family to tell them what happened. He was pronounced dead before the ambulance even took off. First grade friend came back to school after a little under 2 months with a 16-inch long and about 1-inch wide scar all the way up the back of his arm. They were in a band together and played in the school's band. Hallways were bleak for months. Probably the rest of the year, honestly. He sat with us at lunch and tried to be normal, but we all knew he wasn't the same. They were good people, and even though only one of them died, it was like they both left that day because he was never the same. I don't even think he makes music anymore. I knew them both for almost 10 years when it happened, and it was the first time somebody I knew that was my age had died, and it was very sobering. You know nobody is immortal, but you don't expect somebody to be ripped from existence so quickly. The captain of the football team underwent surgery his senior year. I was 13 on the middle school team. His younger brother and I were very close, so I was around him a lot. I looked up to him like an older brother. He drove me to early practices, was very smart, dated a pretty cheerleader, not a mean bone in his body. He had it all. For a 13-year-old, he was my hero. After his surgery he got hooked on painkillers. He went from painkillers to heroin. He was arrested multiple times for theft and drug possession. This went on for years. I would always ask my friend from middle school how he was doing. It never got better. He died last year. Drugs suck. I miss my hero. Edit. Typo. Also, thank you for all your support on this comment. If you're someone you know is struggling with addiction to anything, please ask for help from someone. My PMs are always open as well. I don't know that his life really fell apart because it turns out his home life was terrible all along, but it definitely shifted how people looked at him. And I went to a small school, so there weren't too many divisions between people. When you only have 40 something kids in a grade, popular is kind of relative. But a kid's mom decided to leave her husband, the kid's stepdad. The stepdad, who was known to faculty and was considered a good guy, stopped by the school to deliver something to his stepson. Cool. The secretary gave him a pass to drop it off at the stepson's class rather than call him down to the office. The stepdad actually had a gun and had no idea where the stepson was during that period, so was roaming the halls. Luckily, a friend of the stepson, who knew what an abusive, dangerous guy the stepdad was, happened to be in the office and alerted everyone. We all went on lockdown. The police came. We were stuck for a couple of hours as they swept the school after arresting the guy. Then, it came out that the kid had been abused for the entire time his mom had been married to the guy, and she only was leaving him after he started hitting her. It was a whole thing, and while everyone had pretty much always liked the kid, he suddenly just had everyone feeling sorry for him. Teachers let him go back and redo assignments to boost his grade. People gave him stuff to start over. He just kind of got really closed off and stopped joking around and only hung out with like 3 people after that. He was known as the abused kid with a stepdad who was going to shoot up a school, and that's hard to get over. Lost control of his car when he and his best friend were driving to Taco Bell at night. He came out of it with a fractured collarbone. His friend died on the spot. He was really close with his friend's parents too, and vice versa. He made a few posts on Facebook on how he was an idiot and how sorry he was. The dead friend's sister and parents made it very clear that they didn't blame him. It was winter, black ice, and he was 100% sober. Before he was, like, a stereotypical popular dude, but in the wholesome way. Dropped out of school and became addicted to painkillers. Don't know what happened to him afterwards, but it was just sad for everyone. These are the ones that hurt the most, because the person who lived was 100% not at fault for it, but they can't come to terms with that fact and put it all on themselves. One girl during my school years was walking with her BF in her neighborhood when a guy driving a bit too fast clipped her and killed her on impact, and the BF was perfectly fine. The BF couldn't live with that and got hard into drugs after that. It was rough to see. Survivor's guilt they call it. Always a tragedy. Her mom was diagnosed with dozens of brain tumors the beginning of our senior year and died before Christmas. Girl went from stable, well off, and beautiful to a wreck, then off the map. After that, we lost 4 students violently, including 2 sisters stabbed by their stepdad. Stuff quit. Pretty much no one in our senior class made it in life. Suicides followed graduation. 1999 was a really tough year for our school. Edit. Thanks for the awards. RIP Embarks. This happened in Snoqualmie, Washington, aka Twin Peaks. I'm doing okay these days, despite a rough life. Can't say the same for the classmates that I did keep up with. Ongoing trauma is that much harder to process when literally everyone around you is grieving too. No one gets a pause long enough between deaths to ever fully heal from any of them. We did our best. 1999 was a messed up year for so many people, and I don't know why. I think about that Offspring song "Kids Aren't Alright" a lot. What happened to the 2 other students? One was killed in a random hit and run crossing the street. Other skidded on some RR tracks in the rain and hit a tree. There was also a former student who fell down a mine shaft that year. Just a lot of tragedy. He ended up becoming a 2nd grade teacher and molested little girls in his class. Now he's in prison for an incredibly long time. Blech. Cool kid from my school got caught trying to take his lifelong best friend 11-year-old daughter's virginity. He spent months grooming her via text message before her mother saw a message from him with his intentions clearly spelled out. She hogtied him when he came to her house, called the police with the proof, and the mom ended up going to jail. The whole event was broadcast on FB Live, with him fully admitting to his intentions. Apparently the local PD already had a file going on him, and this sort of thing doesn't help the investigation. Which is fair enough, I guess, but it's 2 years later, and that ducko is still free. He has daughters around the same age as the girl too. Edit. Okay, after a comment or two about my chosen verbiage, I didn't mean the mom went to prison, I just meant she got handcuffed and taken to the police station and I believe charged with something like unlawful detainment or something similar. Edit. I found a news article about it. The mom, her husband, the young girl's stepdad, and their other male friend were charged with assault causing bodily harm and unlawful confinement. I didn't realize the stepdad also hit him with a baseball bat and caused quite a bit of damage to the would-be rapist. Had this cliff that was really dangerous, and to keep kids away the genius local spread around the rumor that it was haunted. Naturally the cool kids wanted to go there like all the time. Once the gang of those supposedly cool kids, 4 in total, went there and no one really knows what happened. One kid jumped to his death. The stories of the rest didn't pan out correctly. Each one had a different version. They were high. No one was jailed. But all 3 were depressed and eventually spiraled out of control. One OD'd 2 years later, one was in a car accident, drunk, and one committed suicide. That cliff is definitely haunted. The hottest girl in high school, captain of the cheerleading team, drove a brand new BMW coupe and had the body of a Greek goddess, got married after college and had 3 kids. Turned out her husband is a drug addict and is in rehab. She now sells candles you stick in your ear for healing qualities from a multi-level marketing platform. I saw her at a bar one night and she was so embarrassed that I remembered her. Midway through the conversation she waltzed right on out of there and I haven't seen her since. Damn how stuff changes. He joined ISIS a few months after high school and died 2 years later in Syria. He was a completely normal and funny dude. Then he went to live with his father and got radicalized, I guess. I heard he married his high school sweetheart in Syria and had kids there, and they all seem to be dead now. Not sure about the kid part though. I also read somewhere that he was pretty popular in Syria within ISIS, so there's that. Not sure in what way he was popular, but when you google his name there's a forum about jihadists from my country and someone mentions that he was pretty popular in ISIS. Sad stuff either way. Thank you for watching Reddit. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more r/AskReddit videos. Share your stories in the comments section below.